So students, in this lecture, we'll see about the options. Yesterday I have told you about that there are two types of options. One is single byte option and another is multiple byte option. In single byte options, there are two single byte options. One is no operation, another is end of operation. Then in multiple byte, there are four types. You can see record root, strict source root, loose source root, and timestamp. We'll study all these options. So first we'll go for no operation. What is that no operation meaning? A no operation option is a one byte option which is used as a filler between option. So no operation is a one byte option used as a filler between options. Then what is end of option? An end of option is a one byte option used for padding at the end of the option field. Can only be used as a last option. So an end of option is a one byte option used for padding at the end of the option field, can only be used as the last option. Then we'll see about multiple byte options. As I've told you, there are four multiple byte options. We'll study one by one. We'll see record route. What is this multiple byte option? A record route option is used to record the internet routers that handle the datagram. Used to record the internet routers that handle the datagram. It can list up to 9 router addresses and it can be used for debugging and management purposes. Now we'll see strict source root. A strict source root option, it is used by the source to predetermine a route for the datagram. To predetermine a route for the datagram as it travels through the internet. Dictation of a route by the source can be useful for several purposes. The sender can choose a route with a specific type of service such as minimum delay or maximum throughput. Alternatively, it may choose a route that is safer or more reliable for the sender's purposes. For example, a sender can choose a route so that its datagram does not travel through a competitor's network. If a datagram specifies a strict source route, all the routers defined in the option must be visited by the datagram. If its IP version 4 address is not listed in the datagram, then a router must not be visited. So whatever is a datagram, it is discarded and a error message is issued if the datagram visits a router and is not on the list. Similarly, it will also be discarded and a error message issued if the datagram arrives at the destination and some of the entries were not visited. Next, we'll see about loose source route. It is also similar to strict source route, but it is less rigid. Each router in the list must be visited, but the datagram can visit other routers as well. So due to that, it is less rigid. Next, we'll see about timestamp. It is used to record the time of datagram processing by a router. Time is expressed in milliseconds from midnight. The users and managers track the behavior of the routers in the internet if the time when datagram is processed is known. Then how much time it takes for a datagram to go from one router to another router can also be estimated. Then all routers may use universal time estimation is possible. Universal time estimation is possible which all routers may use. Their local clocks may not be synchronized. So this is about that options. Next we'll see security of IP version 4 datagram. So whatever is the IP version 4 protocol as well as the whole internet was started when internet users trusted each other. So this IP version 4 protocol was not provided with security, but when we take at present the internet is not secure anymore. Then there are three security issues which are particularly applicable to the IP protocol. First one is packet sniffing, second is packet modification, and third is IP spoofing. We'll see what is this packet sniffing. This is a passive attack. So it is a passive attack in which the attacker does not change the contents of the packet. Who is the attacker does not change the contents of the packeter. Then an intruder may intercept an IP packet and make a copy. They can make a copy of that IP packet after intercepting it. So attack of this type is very difficult to detect because the sender and receiver may never know that the packet has been copied. Who is the sender and receiver may never know that the packet has been copied. Packet sniffing cannot be stopped. Encryption of the packet can make the attacker's effort useless. Attackers may still sniff the packet but content is not detectable. Next we'll see about the second one, packet modification. So in this type of attack, the intruder will modify the packet. Attacker intercepts the packet, changes its content and sends a new packet to the receiver. That is, the receiver believes that the packet is coming from original sender, but it has been modified. That will not be known to the receiver. This type of attack can be detected using a data integrity mechanism. The receiver, before opening and using the contents of the message, can use this mechanism to make sure that the packet has not been changed during transmission. Then what is IP sniffing? We'll see. Attacker can masquerade as somebody else and create an IP packet that carries a source address of another computer. So attacker can masquerade as somebody else and create an IP packet that carries the source address of another computer. So we'll continue. IP spoofing. Attacker can masquerade as somebody else and create an IP packet that carries the source address of another computer. An attacker can send an IP packet to a bank pretending that it is coming from one of the customers. Attack of this type can be prevented using an origin authentication mechanism. Next we'll see about IP security. What is this IP security? Which in short is called IPsec. It is IP security. Whatever are the IP packets today, they can be protected using a protocol called IPsec. So IPsec is a protocol which is from previously mentioned attacks. So this protocol, when it is used in conjunction with IP protocol, creates a connection oriented service between two entities in which they can exchange IP packets without worrying about the three attacks. So it is used in conjunction with IP protocol, creates a connection oriented service between two entities in which they can exchange IP packets without worrying about the three attacks. So IP security provides the following four services. We'll see what are the four services. First one, defining algorithms and keys. The two entities that want to create a secure channel between themselves can agree on some available algorithms and keys to be used for security purposes. So they create a secure channel between themselves, the two entities, and can agree on some available algorithms and keys to be used for security purpose. The second service is packet encryption. The packets exchanged between two parties can be encrypted for privacy using one of the encryption algorithms and a shared key agreed upon in first step. So this makes the packets sniffing attack useless. Third service is data integrity. Data integrity guarantees that the packet is not modified during the transmission. If the received packet does not pass the data integrity test, it is discarded, which prevents the second attack, so called packet modification. The origin authentication. IPsec can authenticate the origin of the packet to be sure that the packet is not created by an imposter, which can prevent IP spoofing attacks. Okay, so next we'll see about ICMP version 4. ICMP version 4. So this IP version 4 has no error reporting or error correcting mechanism. Then the question arises, what happens if something goes wrong? Or what happens if a router must discard a datagram because it cannot find a route to the final destination, or because the time to leave field has a zero value? What happens if the final destination host must discard the received fragments of a datagram because it has not received all fragments within a predetermined time limit? So IP protocol also lacks a mechanism for host and management queries. There is a need to determine if a router or another host is alive, sometimes by a host. Sometimes a network manager needs information from another host or router. Okay, then a one protocol with version 4 has been designed, so called Internet Control Message Protocol version 4, ICMP version 4, which has been designed to compensate for the above two deficiencies. Okay, two deficiencies. We'll see how it is. It is a companion of IP protocol. So this ICMP version 4 is a companion to IP protocol. ICMP itself is a network layer protocol. Then whatever are the messages, they are not passed directly to the data link layer as would be expected. Then how the messages are passed? The messages are first encapsulated inside IP datagrams before going to the lower layer. Then when an IP datagram encapsulates an ICMP message, the value of the protocol field in the IP datagram is set to 1 to indicate that IP payload is an ICMP message. So next we'll see about the messages. The messages are divided into two broad categories, so called error reporting and query messages. So these are ICMP version 4 messages, two broad categories: error reporting messages and query messages. So we'll see about this. Error reporting messages report problems that a router or a host, that is a destination, may encounter when it processes an IP packet. They report problems that a router or a host, which is destination, may encounter when it processes an IP packet. These query messages occur in pairs. So whatever are query messages, they occur in pairs. Help a host or a network manager get specific information from a router or another host. For example, nodes can discover their neighbors. Host can discover and learn about routers on their network, and routers can help a node redirect its message. Then an ICMP message has an 8-byte header and a variable single data section. The first 4 bytes are common to all, even though the general format of header is different for each message type. So you can see the first 4 bytes are common to all, even though the general format of header is different for each message. So this is the general format of ICMP messages. Type for error reporting message, type 8 bits, code 8 bits, checksum 16 bit, then the other field is rest of header, data section. Here query message, type code, checksum 16 bit, type 8 bit, code 8 bits, identifies next field, sequence number, data section. So we can see about this. It has an 8-byte header. Then, so when we see the figure, in the figure, first field ICMP type, first field is ICMP type. What it defines? The type of the message. Code field specifies the reason for the particular message type. Then last column field is a checksum field, which is of 16 bits in both cases. The rest of the header is specific for each message type. So whatever is the rest of the header is specific for each message type. Data section in error message carries information for finding the original packet that had the error, whereas in query message the data section carries extra information based on the type of query. So we'll see these messages in detail in the next lecture.